this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts with day 6 in my Christmas card challenge. As yesterday's video was rather long, I decided to have a really short one today. This one was inspired by yesterday's video by Christine Stokes, who I consider the queen of clean and simple because she makes really lovely clean and simple cards. I'm going to link to her video in the description box. And what she did yesterday, she made a gnome card with a gnome die, and then she added a Noel die cut with the G in front, which the idea she got from one of her subscribers. And I don't have a gnome die, but I thought, no, I can do this myself. And this was inspired by what Christine Stokes did to her die cut. She took the beard she had and put it through an embossing folder, and it gave it some texture. And after she'd done that, I thought this actually looks like one of my leaf dies, which are these maple leaves. And I thought, yeah, that would actually make a good beard. So that's what I did. I cut these from white cardstock, and then I just cut my own shape like this. I just measured the width of this so the shape wouldn't be too wide, and just cut myself a template and then cut this from red cardstock. I then put this through an embossing folder. This one I have got this leafy folder. If that is still available, I think I've got this from Amazon. I'm going to link to that below. I thought this would go really nicely with the maple leaf. And for the other one, I just chose some hearts there. I've also got this one here, which I thought might be nice. This is from a Paper Craft Society box from last year. It's got candy canes on it, but because it's a rather small shape, I thought these might be a bit lost. So I decided to go for something that is really sort of close in texture, the design. And I didn't have a Noel die, but I just cut these letters individually, and I used the same cardstock as the red here. And then just with a normal hole punch, I just cut out a little nose that I stuck on, and then used some glossy accents on this. And yeah, and the G is cut from some glitter cardstock, which is actually adhesive. And then I found it was a bit naked, so I actually put a base in the front here with just a little glitter card strip, and then I put this on a base that I cut from A4 cardstock. So this is all it is, and I'm going to show you very quickly how to put this all together. So I've pre-cut this one a bit smaller. This might be the wrong piece, give me a second. There we go, that's the right piece. So cut this a bit smaller so it gives a nice frame all around. I'm going to work on this before. So all I did was glue this down with my collal glue. At first I thought about cutting it into half to attach the beard in between, but you don't really need to do this. Make sure you get the little tip on the top there. Press it down thoroughly. If you do get a bit of glue on it, it's quite useful to have one of these glue erasers. Sometimes though it is a bit difficult when you've got embossed elements. So, oh, with this one I forgot to say, I cut off the little stalk, and then the cut thing will disappear anyway behind the nose. So that just went about just about there. You could even put this on a bit of an angle if you want the gnome to look to the side. There's my little dot for the nose. These are quite useful. I'm going to link to these below. These are the tweezers that hold things in place. You don't have to press hard. They're very good for heat embossing as well. So, press it down thoroughly so it stays in place, not like this. I've done that before. Do this again. So then, to get the letters in an even line, use a piece of cardstock. Use your grid on your mat. You could even draw a pencil line if you wanted to. Let me just see if I need to move it up a bit. Yeah, probably just do it here. So I started in the middle with the O. Always advisable to start in the middle and work your way to either side, because if you work on or start on one side, you will probably not have it evenly spread out. And if you've got longer words, I advise you, I had to learn that the hard way, to write down the words, because when you're crafting, it's easy to forget to spell it whilst you're sticking them down, and then you might end up with the wrong order of letters. And when you've got the tweezers, it's quite useful as well, because you don't have your fingers in the way, you actually see where you're gluing them down. And with a Collage glue you can just put it in place a bit and then just stick it down. If you have a stamp, obviously Noel stamp, you could easily stamp this and then just cut out the G as a gimmick. So this one, as I say, happens to be double-sided adhesive, so I can just peel this off. Sorry, not double-sided, one-sided adhesive. And although I measured it, doesn't matter. Maybe some of the letters are wider than others. Oops. So press it all down. And then I'm going to do the same here with the adhesive strip. You could do some score lines at the bottom to give it some base, but I thought this would be quite nice, and it ties in with the glitter of the G. So I'm only peeling this off a little bit. Make sure again this is lined up straight. Sticking this down, and when I've roughly got an idea where it's going to end, I'm going to cut it down here. There we go. So all that's left to do now, I'm going to do this after I switch the camera off, is to glue it down on the base and put the glossy accents onto the little nose. And there we go. A clean and simple card without any dies except for the letters and that, but you don't need to have a gnome die to actually create this. And if you don't have a leaf die, you can very simply cut a beard shape as well. Thank you very much for watching, and see you tomorrow for day 7 of my Christmas card challenge.